Every single person I met with, including all my doctors, told me that I looked fine. Well, I do look fine, but I still have Alzheimer's. This is what Alzheimer's looks like. I've worked most of my life. I actually started working at McDonald's when I was 16 years old, and my most recent position for the last 17 years was at Intel Corporation, managing and leading an inside sales team up in Oregon. My husband and I live in the Bay Area, so I commuted up on the Intel shuttle several times a month. I love my job, I love my team, and the leadership team at Intel as well. I especially enjoyed serving as a chief of staff for the organizational development group and as the Women at Intel vice chair. But that all came to an end on May 21st, when I had to take a medical leave of absence. I was struggling at work, and I was forgetting conversations, and I was repeating myself. And most importantly, I was having a hard time learning new technology, which isn't great when you work for a technology company. Initially, I was afraid to share this information with anyone, but I was not able to keep up, and I knew it was time to be honest with my boss. I shared my symptoms with him. I shared that I'd been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, and that there was fear that I had younger onset Alzheimer's. He was shocked, surprised, and very sad. That was a hard conversation, but as I've learned, honesty is the best policy. While out on medical leave, I met with many doctors, and finally was referred to UC San Francisco Memory and Aging Center in the research department, and was able to get the appropriate testing to determine what was causing my memory issues. I originally started noticing the changes way back in 2012. At that time, I thought I was just getting old, or that I was tired. But as the years progressed, my symptoms increased. Because I'm so vocal and that I've been in sales most of my life, and I speak for a living, no one noticed. But I noticed. I knew something was wrong. Bob and I started keeping track of my issues, and finally, after a 2-week vacation together on Maui, he too knew that something was wrong. And because of his testimony to our neurologist, we were finally able to get the help that we needed. So, after the research department finished all their testing, the MRI, the PET, the CT scans, we met with a large group of scientists and physicians on July 20th of 2016. My 2 daughters were there with us too. Excuse me. They showed us the slides of my brain and my MRI. When I saw all the red, my heart sunk. I knew that red was bad. And that was a sign of the amyloid beta and tau proteins in my brain. That is a day none of us will ever forget. Together, we finally learned the cause of my symptoms. I was not happy to hear the diagnosis of younger onset Alzheimer's, but I was gratified to finally have validation that what was happening to me and what I'd been experiencing was real. We all cried. We still cry sometimes, as you can tell. But I knew something was wrong with me, and now I knew what it was and could move forward and deal with it. That night, my husband and I went home in shock. We cried some more. We had some drinks. Well, okay, we actually had a lot of drinks. But we got our feelings out. And I couldn't sleep that night because I was planning my funeral, which is silly, but I think I should choose how my funeral takes place when that time comes. But you know what? The next day, I got up and I went to work. I changed my Facebook, my Twitter, and my LinkedIn profiles. I proclaimed to the world that I had Alzheimer's, that I was on medical leave from Intel, and that I now had a new job. A job with real purpose. That job was and is to fight for a cure, to raise awareness, and to share my story with anyone who will listen. I was determined to use all the training that I received at Intel to empower others and to remove the shame of this horrible disease. My new job is to make sure that women realize that almost 2/3 of all Americans with Alzheimer's are women, and that unless we find a way to prevent, cure, or slow this disease, the social and economic burden of Alzheimer's will continue to grow exponentially. And that's where you all come in, all of you. My husband and I have formed a team here in SLO for the Walk to End Alzheimer's on October 28th, and we want you to join our cause, to walk with us, and to raise a whole bunch of money, and to find a cure. Our team is Pam's Pals, and there's some flyers at the back. So please grab one and help us end this epidemic. So before Ermina kicks me off the stage, I want to say one last thing. For all you women out there, you heard the data. 65% of those with Alzheimer's are women. Please, please, please take care of yourself. Keep a journal. Keep track of your issues or concerns. Exercise, eat well, continue to learn new things, and do not let anyone dismiss what you are feeling. As I mentioned, every single person I met with, including all my doctors, told me that I looked fine. Well, I do look fine, but I still have Alzheimer's. This is what Alzheimer's looks like. God bless you all. I hope to see you at the walk. Thank you.